Okay, so if you're watching this video right now, you most likely have a FiveM server of your own or a test server, and you're wanting to figure out how to do car handlings, to change the car's speed, how it sticks to the ground, its traction, its brake force, all of that stuff. Right, can you not interrupt my video, please? Thank you very much. Right, so yeah, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do all that. So what you'll be doing is you'll be editing this file here, the handling.meta file. So let's open this up and have a look at what it is. So it looks overwhelming at first, but don't worry. I'm going to go through this video and I'm going to tell you what each value means, how to change it, to fit how you want your car to be, etc, etc. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is the car that we're going to be doing the handling for and make it better. So let's give it a little test drive before we do the handling for it. So it's a little bit skiddy. It's not to 60s decent. Top speed's not looking too good though, so obviously we're gonna have to improve on that. Looking around 190 top speed probably. See the brake force. Yeah, the braking's terrible. Right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna DV this car. We're gonna go into the handling files of the Evo X Beast handling, and the first thing we're gonna look at is the speed, the max speed, which will be this, the F initial drive max flat vel. So initially this is the top speed, however it's only accurate in terms of these two values, the F drive inertia and the F initial drive force. So these three values are the ones you're going to be looking at if you wanted to change the speed of a vehicle. So for example, let's change the max flat vel to around 250. Let's change the inertia to, give it a 1.2, and let's put the drive force to 0.8. Okay, we're going to save that. We're going to go back into game. We're going to restart the file name. Make sure the car is deleted. Make sure you've DV'd the car, otherwise it will crash your game when you restart it. So restart. And now we're going to get out of the way of this truck. Now we're going to spawn the car in. And here it is now. As you can see, it's a lot faster in terms of 0 to 60 and top speed. It's not taking a year to get to 190. Look at it now. It's going 200, 210, 220, 230. Obviously we are going downhill, but like I say, the top speed is not accurate unless, obviously it's in terms of the inertia and the initial drive force. So let's DV the car again. It's better, but we want it faster than that. So let's go for, we'll put the max flat vel to 300. We'll put the inertia up to around 1.8, and we'll give this drive force quite a big boost. Right, so file, save, make sure the car is DV'd. We'll restart the script. Spawn the car in. And here it is now. Significantly faster. However, the traction, obviously we need to work on that. But yeah, as you can see, we're going uphill. And it's reaching 230. On a straight, we'll probably be reaching around 260, 270. Let's just give it that little push. But yeah. So yeah, there's the speed done. Obviously, you can increase it more in terms of your server. If you're in a 100k or die, then obviously you might have fast servers. If it's more a realistic server, then you want to decrease them values and obviously make the car slower. But yeah, so next thing we'll need to do is the traction. We'll sort that out a little bit. So traction is all this really. So when you're at a low speed, let me show you an example. When you're at a low speed and it's doing all that turning like this, the way to fix this, to reduce the traction at a low speed, would be the F low speed traction loss mult. The more you reduce this by, the less burnout it will have at a low speed. So We'll go for a 0.5. Just completely chop it in half. We'll save that. We'll restart it. So, we've done the traction. Now let's take it for a test drive. As you can see already, the car's not skidding out as much as it was anymore. But obviously, if you really don't want it to skid out at all, then just keep reducing the value and the value and the value and reducing it until obviously you don't see any more skid. But yeah, so far so good. And then obviously what we edited was the F low speed traction loss mult, but obviously that's the low speed traction loss mult. But if we edit the traction loss mult, this value here, this will be the traction of the car when it's at a higher speed. So again, you just reduce it if you want less. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory. So, on to the next thing. That's traction complete, basically. So, what have we learned so far? We know that the initial drive force, the drive inertia, and the F initial drive max flat vel all contribute to the speed of the vehicle. We know that the flow speed traction loss mult is the traction of the vehicle at a low speed, and the traction loss mult is the traction of a vehicle at a higher speed. Okay, that's traction done and speed done. Next thing, this might only apply to someone who is doing a 100k or die server, for example, and not a realistic server, as obviously in real life this would not occur. But if you are in a 100k or die server and this does apply to you, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a downforce modifier onto the car, which means that the car will basically stick to the ground at all times. So this is the car before it. It's going to fly over this hill now. See how the car leaves the ground and it loses control? Right, well, I've just died there, but yeah. So obviously when you're going over hills and bumps, the car might fly into the air and lose control, whereas the downforce modifier that I'm about to show you how to add will prevent this, and it will keep the car on the ground at all times. So basically it will be glued to the floor, and it is adjustable, so obviously you can make it stick to the floor completely or just, you know, a little bit. So yeah, let's get into adding this bit of code. So this right here is the code that we'll be adding, the fDownforceModifier value. So what we're going to do is we're going to go onto the VPS. We are going to go onto the handling, and right underneath the fmass value, we're going to click there. We're going to do Shift Enter to make a new line. And we're going to paste this, and that's basically it. You just paste it in, and it will be automatically applied to the car once you file and save. However, to adjust it, I would say for like, I don't know how to explain this really, but don't go any higher than 20.0. That should be the highest value that you insert into this, and that will be the most unrealistic because the car will not leave the ground at all. However, you can make it a little bit more realistic, even though a car sticking to the ground is not realistic. So let's show you an example of 20.0. Let's file, save, let's DV the car. Let's restart the script. Restart. Okay, so we've just added the fDownforce modifier value, and now this is the car after. So we're about to go down a hill, and obviously at 200 miles an hour the car would leave the floor, but watch, the car is not going to leave the floor at all. There we go. Car does not leave the floor. But yeah, so that is how you add a downforce modifier. And yeah, if you want it, oh, okay, oh, I better put my seatbelt on next time. But yeah, if you want it to stick to the ground less and less, then obviously just decrease this value. So 20, that's what I would recommend having as the highest, so the most unrealistic, completely sticking to the floor. But if you're in a serious RP server and you do want a downforce modifier in your car, then I would recommend probably going from a range of like 5 to 12.0. But yeah,